AITA for checking out of parental duties after my wife said I'm not the father? My wife and I have been married for about 4 years. She brought 3 kids from previous relationships into the marriage while I have none. They moved into my house after the marriage because I live in a better school district. Obviously we've had our ups and downs, but overall it's been good until a couple of weeks ago when I woke up and found a large dent running down the entire passenger side of my car. The dent is about a hand's wide, starts at the front fender, and runs down all the way to the rear tire. I was furious and thought someone sideswept my car as it was parked on the street. I checked our doorbell camera to see if it recorded anything and was surprised to see our 16-year-old daughter sneaking out of the house in the middle of the night and driving off in my car. She later returned hours later stumbling into the house. Outside of those 2 events, the doorbell camera didn't record anything else but a couple of passing cars that didn't come close to mine. I angrily showed my wife the recording and told her our daughter needs to be punished, but she said that she'll talk to her. I argued that talk isn't enough, which led us into an argument. My wife argued that the new family dynamic has been hard on the kids, while I argued that it doesn't excuse the damage done to my car. I wanted her to agree to ground our daughter from social media and make her get a job to pay for the damage. We argued for hours until she said I don't get a say in any punishment because I'm not her father. That ended the argument and I walked off. Since then I've checked out of any parental duties. I've been an adult and still make sure the kids are safe and fed, but I haven't done anything a father would do. They had doctor's appointments last week for their checkups because they play sports in school and I refused to drive them, causing my wife to have to take off work. They start school next week and I've dropped them off ever since they moved in, but I told my wife she'll have to do it this year. She argued she can't because of her work schedule and I answered her mother would figure it out. She called me a child and to grow up. I think since I'm not the father I don't have to take on the responsibilities of one, but obviously she disagrees. AITA added I was angry when I wrote it, so I left out some info. My wife wants me to report it to my insurance as a hit and run. She said that way no one has to pay for it. I argue that I'll have to pay for it in the long run because they'll jack up my rates. I'm not ignoring the kids and I still talk to them daily. I just don't do or make any parental decisions like I stated above. Also, the other day our son asked me if he should play basketball or football and I told him to go ask his mother. Veterus71 commented insurance fraud is a crime. Don't do it. Also, you had better report the theft of your car and the accident to the police. She obviously hit something with it, and there's a good chance a camera somewhere recorded your car and it can be traced back to you. Then I think you should separate. Her daughter committed at least 3 serious crimes: auto theft, drunk driving and hit and run. She has put you at risk of being sued and possibly arrested. You can't live in a home where that behavior isn't dealt with. Edited to add judgment, ESH. Wife and daughter are assholes for obvious reasons. You are an asshole for not taking this seriously enough. You are playing petty games about basketball and rides to school when there's a criminal in the house and her mother is enabling her. What else is she up to that you don't know about? Mensink commented this accurately describes the can of worms your wife just threw into your lap. Citizen Eco Drive 31 commented wife is more interested in covering the asses of herself and daughter than doing the right thing. What's the bet that the talk she would have had with the daughter would have been fuck all? Mander_M commented my daughter had a similar incident. It was a bit more involved and she was incredibly that the circumstances kept it from being an arrestable situation. There was also a hit and run involved. There was dashcam footage, so we were able to find the victim, reached out to them, and paid for their repairs. This is the adulting we needed to do. She was grounded indefinitely, with no access to a car, keys locked up, no phone, no electronics, and she had to get a job to help pay for repairs. She was also taken to a therapist to help work on the underlying issues that caused the incident in the first place. This was the adulting she needed to do. This was a situation that required drastic and swift intervention. This was not a gentle parenting moment. This was tough love and tough consequences time. She could have killed someone. She was so incredibly beyond lucky. She will fully appreciate the magnitude of it until she hits her 30s. Your stepdaughter need this same intervention. I don't care how hard the family dynamic change has been on her. She could have died. She could have unalived someone else. This needs to be addressed. She needs therapy if the family changes are too much for her to handle. She needs support and not a free pass. AITA for refusing to keep doing chores for my wife? Posted by u/top_teaching_7287. I, 28 meters, and have been married to my wife Bella, 28F, for 5 years. We both met and went to the same college. She pre-law while I was doing animation. She graduated top of our class and went to a T20 law school. While she was in law school, I had a lot of trouble finding a job in my field or a job at all, really. I ended up working in a kitchen as a line cook to help support us, in addition to loans she took out, while she was going to school so she could just focus on her classes. Bella got a very good job in a different state after she graduated, so I quit my job and haven't gotten another one since. We have no kids, a nice house for the two of us, and are overall living very comfortably. She works very long hours, so I take care of most of the household things. Cleaning, cooking, grocery shopping, repainting the walls and doing other work and renovations to the house. In the last 6 months Bella started referring to me as her house husband around our family and friends. I've mostly been letting it go, but every single time it bothers me. I'm already insecure about not being able to find a good job and it makes me feel even more inadequate. I finally got to the end of my rope when we were with her mother on Sunday, who still doesn't really approve of me, and they were talking about taking care of the lawn/garden and she said, "Thank goodness I have a house husband for that or I'd never find the time," and smiled at me. Then they both laughed. It was humiliating. I didn't say anything at first, but I guess she could tell that I was really upset and asked what was wrong. I told her that she needed to stop emasculating me and making it seem like I didn't contribute anything to the household. We were arguing back and forth and she told me that she would stop calling me a house husband if I was going to get that upset about it, but that it wasn't an untrue term and I needed to stop being insecure. Bella refuses to apologize. I feel like she doesn't fully appreciate my value as her husband. I've stopped doing the chores until she apologizes and she is beyond pissed off. She's been coming home and cooking dinner, only for herself, and doing the chores I haven't, and then taking off to spend the night at a friend's house. I was talking to my sister about it and she told me that Bella was wrong, but I was being immature in my response. The thing is, if I give in she's going to keep thinking what she's been doing is okay. I don't even know anymore. AITA? Rogue Dill commented, "Darling, you're a house husband. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Or being a housewife. Why do you believe that it is a put-down or emasculating? It's an equal contribution to your family and household. It holds value. It permits your wife to work longer hours at her job, without trying to also maintain the household. If you're truly unhappy in that role, do something about it. Look for work in your chosen field or look into going back for new qualifications." AITA for getting upset about a factually correct statement. BR0CO12 commented, "Nah. As a housewife myself, I'd be so annoyed if my husband said he has a housewife to take care of stuff. If it was I'm so glad, my name, takes care of all of that. It would be fine. But to reduce your spouse to just their position, rather than a person, is demeaning." Eva Sexy Beast responding to BR0CO12. "I agree with you, though I do think abandoning his position as a house husband to manipulate an apology is what makes him TA, not being upset about it. It's an immature way to go about it, especially considering she has committed to not refer to him as a house husband anymore." That fat Jill responding to Eva Sexy Beast, "Honestly disagree. There have often been posts along the lines of my husband belittled me as a housewife so I stopped working and they all side with the housewife. Now the genders are reversed, people are siding with the breadwinner. Consistency is key." Posted by u/Baby Shark played AITA for serving my 30F sister-in-law, 32F, dinner on a kid's plate. My husband and I have family dinners at our house every month or so with our family. I have some sets of fine china that I like to switch out between the seasons that I've inherited from my grandmother. When we have our get-togethers I serve dinner on these plates. My meal compliments them every time. My sister-in-law, however, has made comments to me that they're not her style. I honestly didn't think twice her comment about it until this past February when one of my plates was put in the sink, broken. Chalked it up to an accident. In April we had another dinner. This time Sil was carrying both her and her boyfriend's plates to the sink, and accidentally dropped both. Again, no biggie at all. In May she broke 2 more plates and in June she broke a plate and a cup. At this point I was catching on. I brought up these concerns to my husband and he brushed it off as accidents. I told my mom and she said she thought my Sil was doing it on purpose and got me a camera to put in my dining room. In July we had dinner, and I had an opportunity arise. My Sil and her BF joined us for dinner. While our plates were still on the table, my Mil asked how my plants were doing and I said I'd show her. I told my husband to follow us outside so he could show her the plant he's growing, leaving Sil alone with her BF. When we came back inside 5 minutes later, her plate was broken. When they left, I pulled up the camera footage. I saw her stand up when we walked out and peek around the corner, and then throw the plate on the ground. I kept this video to myself. That brings me to this past weekend. We had our family dinner and we were joined by my in-laws, Sil and her BF, as well as my parents, siblings and niece. I served everyone, saving evil Sil for last. I brought her food out on a child's plate with a sippy cup and got those kids silverware with the plastic handles. She looked at me confused and said, "I think you mixed my plate up with your niece's plate," and I said no, niece's name is responsible enough to eat on a grown-up's plate. If you're going to act like a child in my home, I'm going to treat you like a child in my home. She tried to play coy but I had my iPad ready and played the video to everyone at the table. She started sobbing, swiped the kid's plate off the table and stormed out. My in-laws both apologized and offered to pay for replacement plates but I told them not to worry about it. Despite this, we still had a nice time. When everyone left, my husband told me I was out of line and cruel, but I told him that this has been happening for months and I've told him it was bothering me multiple times. It's Wednesday. He's still being a little cold to me, and I also got a text from my SIL's boyfriend asking me if I would apologize to her because I really embarrassed her. I sent him the video again and he left me on read. My husband just called me to ask if I was taunting her boyfriend because his sister called him crying that I was. So, AITA? Lady_Rain_was_here commented, "Auntie A, you're amazing. You have nothing to apologize for. Your Sil does have lots of things to apologize for though." Baby Shark played op responding to Lady_Rain_was_here, "I do feel bad that I embarrassed her. I spoke with their mom today and she and my Phil have my back and that I should demand her to pay for the plates, and if she doesn't they would, but I'm not going to make anyone do that. I got them from my grandma so they were special to me. Money can't help the sadness of not having them back, frown." Lady_Rain_was_here responding to op, "That makes me so angry for you. I'm very sorry that she did that to your plates. Hopefully you still have the remaining set to remember her by. I'm glad your in-laws are on your side. Just remember that she embarrassed herself. She's a grown woman." That's all Reddit stories for today. Stay tuned for more.